It's time for Coach's Corner on KCCR and online at kccr.com. Coach's Corner is brought to you by Todd's Electric, James Pharmacy, Lamb Motors, Avera, Oahe Federal Credit Union, and Edward Jones Financial. Coach's Corner is also brought to you by Graham Tire, Kruger Contracting, CHS River Plains, Gales Gas, Bank West, and Capital City Ford, Lincoln, and Toyota. From the KCCR studios in Pierre, KCCR award-winning sports director, John Winkler.
And a good evening as we welcome you here inside the KCCR studios on this Wednesday night as we continue to talk playoffs for football, getting set to talk playoffs for volleyball as well as we end and get to the near of the end of fall sports. As we'll talk with Steve Steele, the Pierre Governors, as well as also Coach Sudbeck of the Phillips Scotties. DT will have a conversation with him. Also be talking some volleyball with Coach Tiffany Stosher, the Pierre Governor volleyball team, and Coach TJ Dragoset of the Stanley County Lady Buffaloes, as their postseason is now set and ready to roll as they will play next week Tuesday against Cheyenne Eagle Butte. We'll talk to those four coaches here this week on Coach's Corner. Glad you're with us for another Wednesday night. We are excited about this show as we are every show, but looking forward to this one here this evening, having our conversation with our coaches. Back with Steve Steele after this here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com.
Why am I so sore?
There are everyday moments.
Whoa, hey, hold the ladder! Hold the ladder!
Yeah, that hurt.
And there are epic moments.
Slide!
College! Class of 1995!
When a moment creates a health need, visit the experts at Avera Orthopedics. We're moving health forward so you can tell the story. Learn more at avera.org/orthopedics.
No one likes to have electrical problems, but when they happen, call Todd's Electric at 223-2518. With over 30 years of experience, Todd's Electric can handle any type of electrical problem, whether it's residential, commercial, or agriculture. Their knowledgeable staff knows and understands the importance of your home, business, or ag facility and are prepared to help. That number again is 223-2518. Todd's Electric Service, serving the Pierre-Fort Pierre area. Todd's Electric Service, the line to power. It takes hard work to reach goals. It's a truth that applies to more than just sports. It also goes for your financial goals. You work hard for your money. You deserve an investment strategy that lines up with your game plan. Your local Edward Jones financial advisor can help. If your investments aren't getting you closer to the win, visit edwardjones.com or stop by your local Pierre area Edward Jones office for a financial review. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Now I'm playing for real.
Yeah, you're doing pretty good. What play should I call now? Maybe corner three.
He's hot. He is hot. Keep feeding that guy.
Now back to Coach's Corner with KCCR award-winning sports director, John Winkler.
As we welcome you back to Coach's Corner here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. Joining me is Coach Steve Steele here with the Pierre Governors. Getting ready for the playoffs. It is that time of the year, and it's always fun. When you get to the playoff time, you probably watched and saw some scores from last Thursday with 11B and 9-man getting the playoffs going, but there's no better time than playoff football here in the state.
No, there's not. And, I think everyone's mindset kind of flips over, and it feels a little bit like a fresh start, even though it's not. It's still a new season for the mindset, I guess. And, you move out of that mindset that you're just focused on getting better, and your mindset kind of turns over to, well, what do we need to do to win this week?
Well, and you play Thursday, you get the next Thursday here tomorrow, and get that game against Spearfish. How was the weekend? How was it good to get guys off? I know we kind of talked about what you were going to do, but how'd that all go, and what did you do?
Good. I think a lot of guys, got out and enjoyed the outdoors and had a fun little weekend here to kind of prep for playoffs. One last hurrah before we really put our nose down and just go for it for 3 weeks. And, I think they did a good job coming in and having a great 2 days of practice, Monday and Tuesday. Obviously Wednesday is a little lighter day, so, it's still got to be sharp, which it was, just not quite as physical and getting after it. But we feel very good about where we're at right now and, ready for tomorrow.
When you look at the weather forecast, is it nicer to know you're playing Thursday night than trying to deal with everything that happens Thursday night with weather and potential of maybe some more weather on Friday? Is it kind of nice to be playing Thursday night?
It is. We really just need a hope for 2 nice days of weather. This hopefully tomorrow ends up being beautiful. and then take care of business tomorrow. A week from Friday needs to be beautiful, and outside of that, we'll put up with whatever we need.
I hope the roads are still good over those, and that especially that last week. Being at home, we don't have to, I guess, necessarily worry about it too much. But we want that last Friday, November 10th, to be good roads too.
Yeah, I mean, again, we want that one to matter.
Right.
But as long as we can have some good playing conditions here in the games that we're for sure outdoors, and like I said, we've got to earn them all, other than tomorrow. But the good weather ideally is good anyways. You want the best team to win, and you want it to be in as best conditions as they can.
Well, and we'll talk about it in the pregame show a little bit too, but that wind that you had and the rain back against T, as long as those two aren't the combination together, the weather is not much of a factor for what the Pierre Governors want to do.
Yeah, it's not. And I think that, especially this game against Spearfish, I mean, they like to throw the ball, probably as much or more than we do. So in a lot of ways, it'll affect them just as much as it affects us. So, it wouldn't be so much of a playing field leveler, I guess, necessarily, with one team loving to run and the other team loving to pass. It would just kind of hinder our game plans a little bit both, and I guess we'd see who prepared better for the run.
Again, talking with Steve Steele here, the Pierre Governors, as they get set to take on Spearfish, 7 o'clock kickoff. Coverage will start at 6:30 and kick off at 7 o'clock here on KCCR and on YouTube at KCCR Sports. By the time that this game is done on Thursday, everybody else should be done because they're all starting at 6 o'clock. So you'll kind of, by the time that you come up and talk with us in the post game, you'll know who your opponent is next week Friday, which, again, as long as you take care of business, will be nice to have and not sit around and wait for another game to get done with.
Yeah, that'll be nice, or I guess if they're in quintuple overtime or something, we can really enjoy
that'll also be nice, too.
Yeah, that'll be fun and exciting. But, yeah, it'll be good. Again, we kind of get that true bonus day this coming week. Again, assuming we get through this one, then you've got that extra day to prepare. So we'll have that time to kind of go back and scoreboard watch a little bit and kind of check out everyone's game on that Friday and then obviously get back at it.
Well, and these seniors have always been there every single year that they've been a part of the football team, whether they were dressing as freshmen, say on the sideline, or getting going as a sophomore, playing in the games the last couple of years. They know what it takes to win a state championship. They know what it takes to get through the playoffs. What have you seen mindset-wise? What have you seen maybe nothing's changed. Maybe they're trying to keep everybody loose and not worry about trying to be, more tight and almost too tight of a practice. Have you seen anything from these seniors to lead these younger guys into saying this is what it's going to take to get through the playoffs?
Yeah, I think that these guys do a great job of not getting too tight and staying loose and almost too much at times. But it's a good environment at practice right now. It's very highly competitive in our team stuff, but they know how to have fun with it too. And again, these are all their long seasons. It's a very, very long grind, and you can't just be so serious all the time that you lose the fun of the game. This should be a fun game to play. It's a fun game to coach, and these kids do a great job at continuing to make it that way.
You're a guy that seems to be like you're serious all the time, aren't you?
Always.
Oh yeah, never crack any jokes ever.
Never.
Talking with Steve Steele here, the very serious Steve Steele here, the Pierre Governors. Yeah, Coach's Corner from last year on video it would prove otherwise.
I don't know what you're talking about. Unless there's video proof that's out there, then I don't know.
There is video proof out there. You can go back on YouTube at KCCR Sports and check that out.
You're welcome for the plug.
Talk with Steve Steele here of the Pierre Governors as they take on Spearfish on Thursday night. I want to actually mention here, let's talk a little hockey, not about the Hawaii Capitals so much yet because you're starting to get into practice. We can maybe make a quick mention of it, but last night for the NHL on Tuesday they had everybody playing, there are 16 games, all 32 teams playing, and they're all staggered start times, which I think the NHL has kind of struggled with that a little bit. Did you catch anything? Were you able to obviously watch your Red Wings play? We won't talk about the mistake that happened in that game, but were you able to catch any of that? And how fun is that for the game of hockey to be able to, and maybe some of the Hawaii Capital kids to be able to tune in and pay attention to that?
Yeah, I think it's definitely good, because again, no matter what team you like, they're on TV. Hockey's not a sport like football where you can switch channels very easily, where you've got a possession break or whatnot. I was pretty just locked in on the Red Wings game. I won't make a mention of it because you said not to. But it's hard to lose by 1 in overtime when that happens. But they did a good job coming back though last night. But I mean, there's it's full time. No matter when you got on or got home from work or whatnot, there was a hockey game on. No matter where you were in the country, I think even Hawaii, by the time they got home, there was still hockey on. So it's a neat deal. And I think I know I saw a bunch of coaches and stuff were upset that the start times were all kind of not routine, I guess maybe is the best word. I think like the Red Wings started at 8:23 Detroit time. So, I mean, it's just kind of an oddball time, but, and again, I don't know so much that the staggered start super mattered. I mean, I guess if you've got the true college football set up with like 10 TVs, I guess you could maybe do it. But for most people, I guess with just one, then, it's probably you're not bouncing back and forth all the time anyway.
But especially when you're trying to build and hockey is not I wouldn't say it's not an easy sport, and it's not an easy sport. No sport is easy to play. You got to be really good at everything that you do. But in a sport that wants to continue to grow in the United States, that's got to be nice to, as a hockey coach too, to be able to see something like that and maybe send out a quick message to all the guys saying, hey, make sure you kind of check out some hockey tonight.
Yeah, I think a lot of them are definitely watching. I think that's a big thing for a lot of kids is to watch those games. It helps you understand the scheme and understand principles of the game that you don't necessarily get if you watch a condensed highlight. I think that's the super tempting thing to do today is to just kind of look at the big plays. It doesn't matter what sport. If it's football, you look at a cool catch or a touchdown. You're not going to watch, a 2nd and 2 where they convert a big, or 3rd and 2 that they convert for 4 yards. You're going to watch a big play that has something cool happen. And I think every sport's like that, and I think especially in a game like hockey where it's so constant flowing that, if you don't watch the whole game, you're missing so much of the, the principles of the game and all the different things that happen.
We'll go back to football here real quick. And what happened to the Lions on Sunday?
Nothing good.
Nothing.
The fun note, I took a lot of heat on Monday Morning Film. A lot of kids came in ready to talk about it. And the saving grace was that the Red Wings scored just as many points as the Lions did on Sunday.
Is that actually saving grace, though?
It is, because that means the Red Wings had a very good game. So
okay.
That was good. But, it happens. I'd say the cool part about that happening is that's the first time it's happened, and we've played 7 games. So, silver lining, we haven't had this conversation in week 1 through 6. Other teams have, but it's not been us.
Yeah.
So, hopefully they get things turned around here. They got one more. They got the Raiders this week before the bye, but no one's perfect. Everyone has a bad game.
Well, that is true. And there's a lot of teams that, the 49ers can now say that they're probably the last team to really not say that until a couple, last week and especially this past Monday as well. Mm-hmm. But again, talking with Steve Steele here at the Pierre Governors as they take on Spearfish coming up on Thursday. Let's go back to the Pierre Governor football team. Playoffs are starting, and you want to get to the Dome. The end goal is to get to the Dome, but how do you take that step forward? What's going to be not necessarily a big reason to get a win, but how do you make sure these guys are taking the step forward to get to the Dome here in a couple weeks?
I really think it's just flipping that mindset over. We've talked all season about making sure we're getting better, growing as a team, as individuals, and making sure that we leave every game feeling like we got better. And as hard as it is to say, it doesn't matter if you got better this week if you lose. If you lose and got better, the season's over. So, our mindset has to flip over to playing a perfect week of everything. Every decision you're making's got to be the right one, from what you're eating to when you're going to bed to every practice rep to watching film. So I think the guys' mindset's flipped over and they're in playoff mode now and will be ready for game 1 of the playoffs tomorrow night.
Well, and what's going to be the biggest reason why the Governors get the win tomorrow night?
Defensively, we've got to make sure we cover well. They like to throw the ball as much or more than we do, so we've got to make sure we're doing good there. And offensively, we got to win the line of scrimmage and move it in the right direction.
Well, Coach, I appreciate the time. As always, looking forward to talking to you the pregame show tomorrow night.
Thanks, John.
Back with more of the Coach's Corner after this here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com.
Look, it's no secret that owning a vehicle can cause a lot of stress, and they get a lot of wear and tear on them through every season. Graham Tire wants you to know that you can trust them with any problem that you have with your vehicle. They have fully trained ASE certified mechanics on staff, ready to handle it for you. From brakes and bearings to alignments and front ends, let their experience work for you. Over 50 years combined means you can count on them. So if it's time for a transmission flush or even a simple oil change, the only name you need to know is Graham Tire, 421 West Sioux Avenue in Pierre.
for helping people.
Have you ever wondered what the benefits are of becoming a Owyhee Federal Credit Union member? At Owyhee Federal Credit Union, we reinvest profits in you. We do this in the form of lower interest rates, higher dividends, and low to no fees. So come check us out or come in at 221 East Pleasant Drive in Pierre, because at Owyhee Federal Credit Union, we treat our members like they own the place because, well, they do.
Owyhee Federal Credit Union.
Hey you. Are you at a job that is fulfilling, has good benefits to support you or a family today, and retirement goes down the road? If you just said no, listen up. CHS River Plains is hiring operations personnel, drivers, and custom applicators at several locations. These come with a knockout affordable benefit package for you and the whole family. Apply to a job with CHS River Plains and up your benefits straight up. To apply, visit us online at chsriverplains.com or stop in at one of our locations. CHS is an equal opportunity employer.
That's a clown question, bro.
You're listening to Coach's Corner on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com.
Back here on Coach's Corner on KCCR and on YouTube at KCCR Sports. Joining me is Coach Tiffany Stosher here of the Pierre Governors. A tough loss on last night against the Brookings Bobcats, but Coach, as you got through the day now and basically 24 hours after the game, what's your takeaway from that Brookings contest?
Well, just a tough match for us overall. I think you have to give credit where credit's due to Brookings. They came in and played a good game. I think it's a little bit of a game full of errors on our end. This is just something that we prepare just like we do every other game, and it's just one of those nights where it was error after error, and it seemed to something happened and just kept building, and we couldn't get out of it.
Yeah, and you guys were able to outkill them last night. Had a lot more, had a lot of categories that you led in, and it wasn't, and sometimes you get errors where the ball's, a foot out, 2 feet out, it's nowhere close. Last night it wasn't that case either. There was a lot of close shots that just barely missed. That I think, if these girls get another chance at it or a little bit of a redo, they're not going to miss that shot.
Yeah, that's not really characteristic. I mean, it was a complete 180 from Saturday's game where we had basically no hitting errors and aggressive swings to a night where, I didn't think we were quite as aggressive and our shots were going out. I mean, they were just going in the net or they're going out, and you keep thinking as a coach, and I think the players kept thinking we're going to settle in and start our game's going to start here, and it just, it never did. It just never did, and time ran out, and you find yourself at a losing end of a quality team. We said the whole night, if we allow Brookings to hang in there and be tied, sometimes we're going to find ourselves on the wrong end of the score, and that's exactly what happened last night.
And that's what's fun about AA volleyball is that you look at down from all the way probably to 14 all the way up, that there's a lot of really good teams, and you got to bring your A game every night. But also the downfall and the not so fun is that when you get a team that's below you in the standings. In other years and other sports, that's going to be a good win for us. We just play our game, everything's going to be good. But a lot of teams that you play below you in the standings, whether you got the win or not against them, it has been some really tough matchups.
Yeah, it really has. When you have teams that aren't even in the SODAC 16, a 17th ranked team playing the quality of volleyball that I'm seeing on film, and now they're starting to win a bunch of games and just climbing right up. And there's teams that start out a little bit slow. Maybe they have some younger players new to varsity or something, but they're athletic enough. You really start to see a difference, and they really peak at the end of the season. And I don't think this is abnormal to see some lower level teams that are tough. You see the scores are close through that early part of the season, and they've just got to start clicking, and they do in the end of the season. And I think Brookings is one of those teams, and they've been winning here towards the end of the season and taking tough teams to 5 sets and close matches. And so, it's just a matter of time before they're going to get their night, and they showed up last night and did that.
Well, now we move forward here. Jefferson's your last opponent, and you played last Friday, Saturday. Then you get Tuesday's game, yesterday's game, and now you get the week off before next Tuesday's contest against Jefferson. How important is that? Sometimes, some years, maybe you want to say we don't want a full week break. We want to go right back into the next match. Is this a really good spot in here for the Governors to maybe get a week off, between games to kind of to be able to regroup a little bit? Yeah,
I think this is first week that we haven't been a long bus ride where we've had an out-of-town match. This is where we can just kind of stay at home this week. We've obviously got some regrouping to do. We've got some refocusing to do, some time where we can just, do some mental work, reestablish what our goals are. Okay, what are we looking at now? Our plans have changed. Things look a little different. Our outlook is a little different. Kind of had an idea if we win last night what things look like moving forward, and now that's not the case. So what we need to do, because there's so much unknown, is we've just got to prepare ourselves for not only Jefferson on Tuesday, but a SODAC game after that, and hopefully a state tournament. And so it's just about improvement on our side of the net and continue to focus on the things that we're not doing well right now. We're watching film today on last night's game, which isn't going to be fun by any means, but I think it's important that we see that, and it's part of learning and part of getting ready to fix it for next week's match.
You can talk with Coach Tiffany Stosher here, the Pierre Governors. They will take on Jefferson next Tuesday at 7 o'clock with First Serve, and coverage will be at 6:30 here on KCCR and on YouTube at KCCR Sports. You mentioned, too, that you guys have been on the road a lot, have had a lot of bus trips, and you finally get a chance to have a full week at home, even with just one game, just a full week at home, and you'll have that next full week at home, regardless of where the SODAC will be. You're pretty much home now for 2.5 weeks. That's gonna also feel good just to be able to have a couple practices, and even after a late night last night where the game probably got out of the gym about 9:30, you're probably home at 10 and able to get in bed at a decent time. That's gonna be helpful to get that extra rest and something that maybe is overlooked throughout a season.
Yeah, it seems we've been going 3 or 4 games a week. I mean, this is just some time where we can take a breath now, and I think it's much needed. Have a game at home this week, get some solid practice time in, some time to just be a team, to regroup, to actually watch some film. We've been going, with such a heavy schedule here, 3 games a week. You want to watch film and you want to prepare for teams, but you're on the road till 1 a.m. the night before, and you're trying not to, overtire them for a 3-game week, but you got to get film in and you got to get prep work in for some things that you need to work on, and it just seems like it's been we're just rushing everything. We just had to rush everything, and so I'm looking forward to this week and next week to where we can just take some deep breaths and work on ourselves and really fix the things that we need to work on before we're ready for playoffs.
Well, real quick here, we'll start to wrap things up here, but what do you expect from Jefferson? I know you're talking about yourself, getting ready and getting yourself better, but what do you expect from Jefferson going into next week? I know you haven't really taken too deep of a dive with the Cavaliers yet, being just a day after Brookings, but what do you expect from the Cavs next week?
Sure. Well, I've got to watch just a little film on them basically when I'm scouting other teams, but, they've only lost 2 games all season, right? And so what I've seen is they've got a lot of weapons. They've got, more than even Harrisburg or more than even Sioux Falls, Washington, in my opinion, is that they've just got several, really, really quality players. Typically we can key in on one hot shot that Harrisburg is going to go to, or, 1 or 2 that Washington's going to go to. But what I see from Jefferson is just, no matter what their rotation is, they've got, several solid players that can put the ball away. And so it makes it difficult to plan for. It's kind of like just be ready for anything. And that's kind of hard to defend sometimes. So, they're a quality team. They're going to bring everything they've got. They're big up at the net. I think that they've got a really strong defensive back row. So they're just good in all areas. And, we're going to go out there. We don't really have anything to lose. We know what we're capable of on a good night. And I think sometimes when you don't have anything to lose, you bring that type of game. So I'm looking forward to the opportunity. The girls are looking forward to the opportunity, and we'll see what we can do against Jefferson next week.
Yeah, and a 50 seed point win could be a big spot and would get you still that home game for the SODAC 16. But like you mentioned too, they're coming in as the number 2 team in the state, and rightfully so with only those 2 losses. So going now into next Tuesday, what's going to be the biggest reason for the Govs to get that win against Jefferson, upset the Cavs, and be able to go in the playoffs on a winning note?
Yeah, we want to play a really quality game on Tuesday so that we have some confidence going into that SODAC game. I thought that we had some confidence after that Aberdeen. We played great, and then 2 nights later, it's just something different. So we're going to reset. I think we're going to come out strong. It's our seniors' last home game potentially, and they're aware of that. And so, on nights like that, you see things from players that where they're just giving their best effort. And so I think we're going to come out in that fashion next Tuesday. I think that we're going to give the Cavs everything that they can handle, and I'm looking forward to a good battle on our home court.
Well, Coach, I appreciate the time. I know you've had a busy day, so I really appreciate you taking time to talk with us here this evening, and hope you have a good rest of the week, and looking forward to talking to you on Tuesday against Jefferson, and good luck next week. Thanks, John. That is head coach Tiffany Stosher, the Pierre Governors. We'll return with more Coaches Corner after this here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. KCCR Radio.
As community bankers, BankWest employees are deeply committed to supporting local causes, growing the local economy, and creating local opportunities. At a time when you can bank anywhere, we hope you choose BankWest. We'll be your financial partner for the long haul, helping you and your community achieve financial success. BankWest. Convenient, connected, committed. Member FDIC.
Capital City Ford Lincoln Toyota is serving the central South Dakota community and beyond with a great selection of used vehicles. Local trades and program vehicles are available. New Toyotas and new Fords are arriving and selling before they even hit the lot. So don't wait. Stop in and find out what's coming. If you've been thinking about ordering a new Ford, stop in and sit down with one of our sales specialists today. Capital City Ford Lincoln Toyota at 518 East Sioux Avenue in Pierre. Call 605-224-7378 and visit CapitalCityFordToyota.com.
Building a home. It's the biggest investment most of us make in a lifetime. Not to mention, it's a decision that, well, you pretty much live with day and night. The quality of the workmanship stares back at you like a reflection. It also affects the value of your investment. Choosing the right contractor is critical. Kruger Contracting is that contractor. Call 222-2523. Quality workmanship and materials completed on time. Kruger Contracting. In a word, quality. Call 222-2523.
You're listening to Coach's Corner on Central South Dakota's sports leader, KCCR.
You like that? You like that?
Back here on Coach's Corner on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. Joining me is Coach TJ Dragoset of the Stanley County Lady Buffaloes as they round up their regular season last night with a 5-set win over Jones County. They know their opponent will be Shining Obuta coming up next week Tuesday in the first round of the Region 6A tournament. And Coach, before we get into talking about Shining Obuta, let's go back to last night. Jones County final game of the regular season, a chance to honor seniors, a chance to finish out the year at home, and a 5-set win. What was the best thing about last night for the Lady Buffs to get that win?
Yeah, I think having a home court advantage really helped us in our benefit, and just getting to recognize those seniors, having 7 seniors, it was great to let them, get the last shine on the home court, and we ended up with a win. So I joked with them that they really just wanted to get all the playing time they could before their regular season ended to take it to 5 sets, but they did well, and I am proud of them.
I was going to say, those 5 sets can be real nerve-wracking. Sometimes they may be a little frustrating, but as long as you come out on top with the win, it's a nice sigh of relief to get a W off of that.
Yeah, 100%. We haven't gone to 5 sets. I think we only did it with Dupree once this season, so that was only our second game going to 5 sets, and so it was a little nerve-wracking. We haven't experienced the short game hardly at all, so it was a little nerve-wracking, but they pulled it off, so all I can ask for.
And I guess, too, going to the playoffs when you're trying to make sure you're ready for everything to be able, you mentioned, too, Dupree is the only other 5-set match you've had so far this season, and you lost in 5, but to beat Jones County in 5, got to be confident now if things would go 5 that these girls won't be intimidated on a 5th set.
Right. They kind of got to experience both, how to start off hopefully fast right away to get a lead right away, so then it's not point by point, which happened in Dupree, that we were battling point by point. It was 6-6 and then 7-6 and 7-7. So they just need to figure out how to take care of the ball and put it away when it's a close and tight game like that.
Well, you mentioned your seniors, and those seniors, Maddie Duffy, Kaden Sand, Luna Garcia, Tatum Scott, Katie Cramey, Olivia Frederick, and Rachel Runge. Those all, they still get a chance to play at home because you guys are the 3 seed and a chance to host the Shining Butte coming up next Tuesday. But what have these seniors meant to you, meant to this program for Stanley County, to be at the record that you have at 17-8, almost 10 games over 500 for Stanley County? What do these seniors mean to this program?
Yeah, 100%. They are the absolute best. I told them last night that I'm so grateful that I got to be their head coach for my first time their senior year. They've just been such a positive influence to the younger girls and a great leader on and off the court. I think all of them have those great qualities, and they're going to go so far. And I'm really proud of them, and I'm so excited to follow along with their journey that, you know, they showed up to practice every single day and gave it their all. They're always working to get better. And, they've just been such a huge impact to us. So I am so grateful that we're my seniors this year. So, yeah.
Again, talking with Coach TJ Dragoset here of the Stanley County Lady Buffaloes. They will take on Cheyenne Eagle Butte in the quarterfinal round of the 6A region tournament coming up on Tuesday on Halloween, October 31st, the 3 versus 6 matchup. And I thought going into the last week or so that I thought you guys were going to be at number 4 regardless of how things finished out, but you finished at number 3. Miller and Mobridge Pollock are 2 tough teams, 1 and 2. It's going to be tough to beat. It's going to be tough to beat one of those teams, but the fact that you get number 3 and North Central or Cheyenne Eagle Butte, you look at record-wise, you look at what you did against Cheyenne Eagle Butte, getting 5-set wins in the 2 matches that you played, going 5-0 against them. Got to be a lot of confidence going into next week.
Yeah, 100%. Since we know what Cheyenne Eagle Butte is going to have to offer, I think that's definitely something for us to look at, and that we know what they're going to throw at us pretty much. So just watching film back and seeing what they have, and also kind of looking into Mobridge. We only got to meet them in the Mobridge Pollock tournament earlier this year, and we kind of had a rough game, but there was some stuff in the community going on, so we can't really hang our heads about that. So once we pass Cheyenne Eagle Butte, I'm looking forward to the big game against Mobridge.
Yeah, and that's what's fun, too, is that you get to be at home against Cheyenne Eagle Butte. Not that you're looking at Mobridge, already preparing for them, whatever, but, that if you do win, that's the most likely scenario is going to have to go take on Mobridge Pollock. But there's a lot of excitement for this region tournament because, again, 2 wins, you're in the SODAC 16. The Stanley County volleyball team has done everything so far this year to deserve a spot in the SODAC 16.
100%. I think it'd be a huge accomplishment, and it would make these girls' world if they could make it to the Sweet 16. I think that we are kind of getting overlooked right now, but I have so much faith in them that they can make it to the Sweet 16 and possibly even further. I think this is a team that could get there and have the confidence in order to, make a good run at it.
Well, going into this tournament and against Cheyenne Eagle Butte on Tuesday, you mentioned that you guys have played them already, and you're going back and looking at film. What are you expecting? Maybe I wouldn't say maybe a little bit different because you're probably going to look at more film than what you did last. I mean, you probably didn't look at film last night. You're waiting to make sure everything was set today before you started playing. But what do you expect from Cheyenne Eagle Butte?
I don't know. I think if we obviously I'll go back and watch some film on what they did to us for the past couple games, but I think if we play our game and have the confidence we've had all year, I think that what we do on our end should take care of the job and get the W. So as long as we play our game and we're confident in the moves we make, then we should be pretty good.
Well, and the Stanley County team, the fans have kind of been gypped the last couple of years, and unfortunately with the official shortage, have had to be on the road even when they've been the higher seed in volleyball. So now you finally get a chance to be at home. How nice is that to finally get the home fan support? You don't have to travel anywhere. Everybody can come out and watch you guys next Tuesday.
Yeah, we have such a great fan base and support system through parents and fans, the community that come out and support us every home game and away game. So got to give credit where credit's due and let the fans know how much we appreciate them. And the girls really feed off of their energy. And, they love having a big crowd.
And of course, you end last night on that Tuesday night in the regular season. You don't play till next week Tuesday. Everybody's in the same boat. Is it nice to be able to have this stretch of basically a week between games to maybe work on against Cheyenne Eagle Butte, but also work on yourselves going into the playoffs?
Yeah, 100%. If we focus on ourselves and focus on the things that we need to get better at in the past couple games of what we learned and what we need to get better at, I think that these practices will be very beneficial on, working on serve receive because we kind of struggled with that, and working on getting our passes straight to our setter, just little things like that to kind of perfect the game in the areas that we can.
Also, a chance to maybe, I don't know, how's everybody doing injury-wise going in after last night? Is it a chance to maybe rest a little bit, or maybe a chance to push them a little bit more here in practice?
Yeah, we have had we've had minor injuries for sure. We've nothing major, so that's definitely a positive. So I think we can push these next couple practices and really, just work on the things we need to work on to, look forward to these next couple games.
Again, talking with Coach TJ Dragicetti here of the Stanley County Lady Buffaloes, and Coach, we as long as you guys win on Tuesday, we'd love to have you back next week Wednesday as well to most likely again face Mobridge Pollock. So I'll wait for those questions for next week. But going into Tuesday now of next week, what's going to be the biggest reason why the Stanley County Lady Buffs get that win over Cheyenne Eagle Butte and move on to the next round?
As long as they play their game and play like they have been all season, I think that they will strive, and just got to take it one game at a time. We can't look too far into the future, so they just got to play their game and show up and feed off of each other, feed off of the crowd, and just play their game, and they know how to do it. So.
Well, Coach, hey, I appreciate the time. It's good talking to you, and it's a fun time of year at the playoffs, so looking forward to seeing what the Stanley County Lady Buffs can do and how deep of a run they can make in the playoffs. Good luck on Tuesday, and, again, as long as you guys win, love to have you back on Wednesday, and hopefully be talking to you next week.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you.
That is head coach TJ Dragicetti of the Stanley County Lady Buffaloes. We'll return with more Coach's Corner after this here on KCCR.
Most of us already know that Gales Gas of Pierre is the place to call for propane. They offer an automatic fill plan so you never have to worry about running out of propane. They accept debit and credit payments or a budget payment plan to spread out the cost throughout the year so you never have surprises when you get your bill. For delivery, convenience, and great customer service, call Gales Gas at 224-5518. That's Gales Gas at 224-5518.
Score big on your next vehicle purchase with Lamb Motor Company in Oneida and Gettysburg, Lamb Chevrolet and Implement in Oneida, and Lamb Auto Sales in Pierre. Check out their large selection of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs at any one of their locations, or go online to lambmotor.com. That's LAMBMOTOR.com. Or give them a call today at 800-952-2222. Lamb Motor Company of Oneida and Gettysburg, Lamb Chevrolet and Implement in Oneida, and Lamb Auto Sales in Pierre.
Let me talk to you.
You're listening to Coach's Corner on Central South Dakota's sports leader, KCCR.
Yeah.
Coming up Thursday night, it is a quarterfinal football action for Class 9A, and the Phillip Scotties are in the hunt. Joining me now is head coach of Phillip. That would be Chandler Sudbeck. Coach, you came away with a very convincing victory last week over Timberlake, 52-0, and you were able to kind of ease up at the end there and give some players some rest, huh?
Yeah, we've got a great group of kids right now, older upperclassmen who have been playing a lot of football, and it feels good to be able to step in there in a first-round playoff game and just to be dominant the way they were, and then to be able to have that option to kind of get some kids moved around and let kids who don't necessarily need to be out there taking abuse get a little rest.
Okay, well, I was looking at it, and I was just kind of adding it up in my head. For as impressive as you were when I saw you like a month ago against Kadoka area, for as impressive as your club looked offensively, man, I got to tell you, you bring it to the house defensively, Coach. Defense wins championships. You have got to be really happy with the way your defense has played this year.
Yeah, we've put up a lot of points this year on offense. But but defensively, we've been pretty much shut out. I mean, we've played 9 games now. A handful of them. I mean, there's a big goose egg on the scoreboard for a lot of teams, but that doesn't tell the whole story either. I mean, our varsity we get them out when we're up in games, and to be quite frank, our varsity hasn't been scored on since the first half of the Wall game. Which we take a lot of pride in over here in Phillip.
Understandable, yeah, absolutely. It is very impressive. You play in a tack style kind of defense, and it was really fun to watch. For those who like defense, those of us who like defense, and with that, you're facing a team. You're facing an unknown commodity in Thursday night's game in the Chester Flyers, Coach. This is a team that you never see.
Yeah, and just like any teams that we have played, we watch a lot of game film. I've got a really great coaching staff, and we've done a really good job throughout the season preparing for teams. And we took this team no different than any other. I mean, we've watched a lot of game film, sit down, scheme a lot, and we look forward to playing something a little different. Sometimes you play a lot of those teams that you've known and play every year in and out. And it's exciting to see where you compare with other teams and not just teams that you know.
Yeah, and this team is coming in. Chester is coming in battle tested. I mean, I'm just running down their schedule here. I mean, they had Hanson, who's 6-2. They had Alcester Hudson is on that list. They have Howard on that list. Perennially strong programs. So this is a team that will They're a younger squad too, Chandler, and sometimes they're too young and innocent to realize they're not supposed to be in this game. How do you approach a team that thinks that they can't lose on your field?
Oh, like I said, we approach it as a coaching staff about any way we would approach the rest of the teams. One big thing we notice about these guys is they're very scrappy, and some of that might be a lot of their like you said, they're young, and young teams play scrappy a lot of times, and they have to play scrappy because they might not, be as disciplined or as just familiar with the game as an older squad like we kind of have this year. So, they're scrappy, and that's what can make or break you, being scrappy like that, and I think they've done a good job this year being very successful against a lot of those big-name teams out east and things like that.
Yeah, you know what, though? I know your team will be ready. I know you guys, from what I saw, you just don't have it in your makeup. I mean, you're not going to look past this team. You're going to be ready to go. And what does it mean to you and your club to have it on your home field on Thursday night?
It is very awesome. Part of these playoff games and part of football is being prepared and ready for everything. And some of that travel takes away some of that preparedness, I think. I mean, you sit on a bus for 3.5 hours, 4 hours, and it makes a big difference than being up and moving around all day and being able to do the same things that you do every home game and things like that. So I think there's a big advantage there.
There's one other thing. You had mentioned to me earlier, Chandler, that, okay, you've watched tape, so and everybody gets a chance to watch tape. They'll find games from the team that they're ready to face. Is this the time of year where you could bring out a different wrinkle, something that maybe they haven't seen yet?
Yeah, we our playbook's pretty wide. I mean, we run a lot of different formations. We do give teams a lot of different looks, and part of that it makes it more difficult to prepare for a team that has different fronts and different looks like that. And We've got some stuff stored away we haven't had to show or haven't showed much this year, and there's a lot of stuff that we haven't done that we've done in the years in the past that has been successful for us too. So yeah, I think there's no reason to hide anything at this point. Everything should be out on the table. I mean, your cards should be ready to be played, and it's gonna be a fun game. And I know Chester has that too. They showed up last week against Wolsey and ran an offense that I really haven't seen them run much this year, and it was obviously pretty successful for them.
Yeah. So you answered my question perfectly there, because you're ready to go with your club. But there's an old adage, Coach: if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, do you want to tinker with something that's running as solid as your club right now?
Yeah, we're going to come out. We're going to come out and we're going to play our football game. That's for sure. But it doesn't hurt to have things in your back pocket ready to go and make sure that the kids are prepared. I mean, this is do or die time. There's no other opportunities to make up mistakes. I mean, everything should be at its best right now. That's why teams stick with the things they know. But I mean, if a team gets desperate and you don't have anything other to show, that's where you break right there.
Okay, well, I know kickoff on Thursday night, scheduled for 5 o'clock Mountain Time, 6 o'clock Central, as the Scotties get ready to take on the Chester Flyers. Coach, I really do appreciate the time, and good luck on Thursday night.
Yeah, thank you much.
Appreciate that. Chandler Sudbeck, the head coach of the Phillips Scotties. And we'll continue with more right after this.
This fall, take some time to think about your future while the leaves make their way down to earth and the last sunset of summer leaves us with an autumn chill. It's time to grab the nearest foam finger and break out the face paint. Rush the stands with First Dakota National Bank and forget how to blink. Fall sports are back with jaw-dropping plays, an electric atmosphere, and epic scores. Make some noise with First Dakota National Bank. Open a new account online today at firstdakotanationalbank.com. Member FDIC.
At Shane's Pharmacy, your healthcare is important, and Shane wants to be the pharmacist to take care of you. Shane's Pharmacy will make sure your prescriptions are filled in a timely manner, they will answer your questions, and they will even deliver to your home or office. Call 223-9200. Shane's Pharmacy, the pharmacy you know and trust. The number again is 223-9200. Shane's Pharmacy in Fort Pierre, proud to support high school athletics.
Hey, I'm just here so I don't get fined, so y'all can sit here and ask me all the questions y'all want to. I'm going to answer with the same answer, so y'all can shoot if y'all please.
This is Coach's Corner on your home for the Pierre Governors, KCCR, and online at kccrradio.com.
Back inside the KCCR studios one more time here on this Wednesday night. I want to thank our coaches and Steve Steele of the Pierre Governors, as well as Coach Sudbeck of the Phillips Scotties. We also want to thank Coach Tiffany Stosher of the Pierre Governor volleyball team and TJ Dragoset of the head coach of the Stanley County Lady Buffalo volleyball team. Coming up tomorrow night, we've got Pierre Governor football here on KCCR, and DT will have Phillip football on Country 95.3 as the Scotties will take on Chester. The Governors will host Spearfish in the quarterfinal rounds of their respective playoff classes. And we'll have that for you here on KCCR and on Country 95.3, and of course, they're available to watch on YouTube as well. Again, thanks to our coaches. We'll be back here same time, same place next week, Wednesday. Looking forward to talking more playoff volleyball as we get farther along into the playoffs here, as the Govs will be then set for won't know their opponent, but will be set to then get ready and turn into the SODAC 16, and then some SODAC 16 qualifying games as well, and of course playoff football continuing here on here for Coach's Corner. Same time, same place next week, Wednesday. We'll be back with more Coach's Corner. Hope you have a good rest of your night. You've been listening to Coach's Corner here on KCCR.
You've been listening to Coach's Corner on KCCR and online at kccr.com. Coach's Corner is brought to you by Todd's Electric, Shane's Pharmacy, Lamb Motors, Avera, Oahe Federal Credit Union, Edward Jones Financial, Graham Tire, Kruger Contracting, CHS River Plains, Gales Gas, Bank West, and Capital City Ford, Lincoln, and Toyota. To hear the show again, head to YouTube at KCCR Sports for shows at any time. This has been a special presentation of Riverfront Broadcasting Sports, Central South Dakota's sports leader.